Go to Leah now for something off the grid from Australia. And
Yeah.
I used to live in Melbourne many years ago. This isn't the Melbourne I remember, my goodness.
Yeah, it's not the Melbourne a lot of people know, even the folks that still live there. The Home Affairs Minister Peter Dutton, he said that people in Melbourne are afraid to go out to restaurants at night because of African gangs. Here's part of his interview with an Australian radio group earlier this week.
The reality is, people are scared to go out to restaurants at night time because they're followed home by these gangs, home invasions and cars are stolen, and we just need to call it for what it is. Of course it's African gang violence.
So that interview is part of the discussion that fueled the hashtag African gangs on social media. It follows headlines like this of attacks involving black men in the Melbourne area. Now, that's where Makar Mayek comes in. You've never heard of him, but he's South Sudanese living in Australia, and he says his community was on the receiving end of racist comments and bullying after media reports of gang violence. Then once Dutton said people were too afraid to go out at night, Mayek decided to change the meaning behind that hashtag altogether. He started by calling himself the African gang on his Twitter page.
Over the years, our own stories have been told by other people, so we decided to take that initiative and tell our own stories. We're extremely grateful to the Australian people who've come out and supported the campaign. We knew and we had suspected all along Australians do not endorse these sensational headlines by politicians aimed at, particularly Liberal Party politicians aimed at political point scoring. Australians are happy with their multicultural society, but the politicians in this country do not seem to understand this.
Now, hashtag African gangs is being used to show how educated, vibrant, and diverse Australia's African communities are. Now, people are posting pictures on Twitter like this using the hashtag African gangs. This woman saying half African gangs graduated and traveled overseas to make a difference in vulnerable people's lives. Or this one, hashtag my mini African gang taking care of her business in the grocery store. And the University of Adelaide's Dean of Law ain't afraid to take pics with hashtag African gang graduates. Victoria's Police Department has taken notice. They've formed a task force with police and senior African Australian leaders in the community to help tackle the problems from both sides of this discussion. Many are now also posting pictures with the hashtag Melbourne Bites back, showing how they're still eating out at night as normal without any fear. If you're in Australia, especially in Melbourne, we want to hear from you. Tell us what you think about this story and how it's impacted you, if it has at all, with the hashtag AJ Newsgrid.